guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Sileo, Tales of a New Dawn. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alrighty. We're watching the mediation that took place between Diego and Kyrex, so I'm very interested in seeing what gets revealed in this episode. Anyway, y'all, I look towards Kyrex, who's tuned out, finishing his first drink already, not paying a great deal of attention to what was being said. Evidently, Ty noticed this.
Kyrex, might I ask you that you pay attention?
Why? It's all bullshit anyway. Ain't no point.
Kyrex!
What?
Diego is being honest. Please, just listen. I'm sorry, Diego. Please continue.
Well, as time went on, he started to withdraw a bit. Our daily meetings dwindled to a couple times a week. Then once a week, then once every two. It'd take more and more convincing to come. He was responsive if I promised sex, at least to start with, but eventually even that didn't work no more. It was tough. My boyfriend didn't want to spend any more time with me. We fought about that too, and as time went on, he kinda, well, got mean. I see less and less of him, and when I did see him, he was a total dick. He stopped responding to my messages. He wouldn't be at the gym at his usual times, and it's not like I could visit him at home either. I felt abandoned. When I did see him, he was an abusive dick. He was off sleeping with other dudes, ignoring me, and didn't even have the decency to call things off first. In the end, he wasn't the person I thought he was. I feel like he just got together with me for sex, and he didn't want me for anything else. And when he'd had his fill, he just ghosted. So, then I confronted him one day. He was on an assignment for Lucas. I knew where he'd be. I called him out on all the shit he'd put me through, and I'd have him an ultimatum. Well, you know how that went down. We broke up there and then, and that was that.
Thank you for your honesty, Diego. Kyrex, how do you feel about this?
You know how I feel. It's all complete bullshit.
So you say. Then, can we hear your side of the story?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what I agreed to. I reckon I could get another drink first.
Very well.
Ty got up to prepare another bourbon for Kyrex, leaving the two of us facing one another. Kyrex scowling at me intensely. You really think everyone's gonna buy that sob story? It's the truth. Ain't the goddamn truth. It's your fucked up oh woe is me version of the truth. Version of the story that makes you look like a saint. If that isn't the truth, then what is? Ty returned to the table, handing Kyrex his drink, which he instantly took a big gulp from without breaking eye contact with me. Ty could sense the troubled atmosphere, but decided to push ahead anyway.
Kyrex, may we hear your version of the events?
Thought you'd never ask. So the beginning sounds about right. Saw this guy at the gym, new blood and all that. Thought to myself, hey, wouldn't mind a piece of that. So I did what I do. Started chatting him up and all that. Got what I wanted pretty quickly. Invited him to some group stuff, but he wasn't having it. Said all this stuff about how he ain't into that. All the more for me, I guessed. So that went on for a bit alongside the other stuff. Wait, you were cheating right from day one? Now I see you're interrupting this time. Answer the question. Ain't never cheated on nobody. What the fuck did you mean by... You can't cheat when you ain't in no relationship. What? You're over here giving this big sob story about your abusive ex. How could I be your ex? I was never your boyfriend in the first place. I didn't understand. What was he? You? Me? We never dated. We slept together. I never agreed to anything else. You did that on your own. The fuck are you talking about?
Gentlemen, I feel as though we are getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Kyrex, would you please finish your story before we get down to the brass tacks?
Fine. So yeah, we slept together. Most of the guys I slept with were in groups. Did singles here and there. Diego here was one of my repeats, and weren't nothing more than that to me. But he started getting, well, high maintenance. Wanted a lot from me. Kept calling me up, asking me places and all this. It became a chore, busy work to get what I was after. Then he started saying we were a couple, telling people about us. It's like I said, I never signed up for that. So yeah, I weren't happy about it. Didn't think there was a question as to why. One second, y'all. Water time. Hey, yo, it's water time. It's water time. It's also really late at night. Holy shit. Alright. About that point, he started picking fights. Getting real difficult. Demanding more and more from me. I didn't know what to do at this point. Thought I'd put my dick in crazy, to tell you the truth. Like I'd picked up some crazy needy stalker or something. So I backed the hell off, but I was stupid. Gotta be honest, the sex was great. Can't think of it with my little head, if you know what I mean. Went back a few times, shouldn't have. But shit kept escalating. Eventually, even little head couldn't convince me to go near that whole trash fire, and, I know this is gonna sound really shitty, but, got easier as he gained weight. At that moment, I had too much swirling through my head to even process that comment. I should have been furious, but I felt as though things were starting to make some sense.
Shitty indeed, but it is in our nature to have types and preferences.
Oh, yeah, well, you know this already, Ty. I was never good at the whole talking thing. I tried a couple times to talk, but we just never figured it out. He was pissed and crazy. So I distanced myself further and further, but he kept just following me more and more. He kept popping up all over the damn place. Thought I'd have to move out of town or something. I didn't know what else to do. So yeah, even though it was shitty of me, I tried to make it as obvious as possible. Didn't want him around. I was a dick to him. Figured he'd get the message. Eventually he did, like a few months later. He confronted me one day, gave me like an ultimatum. Kinda like he said, I guess. Saying all this shit that didn't make any sense. I just laughed. I didn't know what to say. Like, fuck no, I don't want to fix shit. I want you out of my life. That's all I'd wanted for months, so we got the hint. Hooked up with this new boy like a couple weeks later. It was a huge fucking relief, gotta say. Could actually go back to my normal life without worrying about running into him. It's all relief, though, as you know.
Indeed. But just so you know, the reason Kyrex and I began talking is that I felt guilty. I had heard what I had heard, and mentioned that to Lucas. It might have played a role in Kyrex losing his job. That night out in the rain, Kyrex told me about his money issues. He was struggling for rent, food, all that. They had cut his power already due to a late bill. I felt somewhat responsible. And well, in hearing his side of things, the full picture is trying to become clear. It's like I have said to Brian. You both told the truth from your perspectives, but those perspectives are wildly different, and your lack of success in communicating prevented either of you from truly figuring that out.
I don't... The horrible thing is that suddenly it all kind of made sense. To him, I was some crazy, clinging sexual partner gone wrong. I'd taken his initial willingness to spend time with me and to be intimate as something it wasn't. I'd critically misread the room right from day one, but why? I already knew why, and it was because of Brian. I was still fixated on him. The one that got away. I was trying to help that empty space, fill that empty space in my heart, trying to replace him. Trying to find somebody that made me feel like I did when he was around. I fooled myself into thinking I had. Found the person that gave an inch and took a mile from them.
Diego, do you understand? Kyrex, you both went into this thinking it was something different than what the other believed. From your perspective, Diego seems crazy. But knowing what he felt, what he thought, do you still believe that?
I don't know. I don't understand why. I can answer that. I was trying to replace Brian. I'd figured this out already, mind you, but it now makes sense. I clung to what I wanted, instead of the reality of the situation. I was desperate, depressed, longing, lonely. So when Kyrex seemed interested in me, I leapt at the chance, but he's right. Thinking back, I don't think we ever really decided between us what this was. One second, y'all. More water is needed. Alrighty. So, I went into thinking one thing. Kyrex went in thinking another. I figured we were on the same page, but we weren't. As tensions grew, it got harder to communicate. Harder for us to actually figure out what the hell was going on. So to me, he was a neglectful abuser, and to him, I was a clingy psycho. But I'm not that. I know I'm not. Kyrex sighed and took a big gulp from his glass before clearing his throat. You know this is kinda awkward for me, but I ain't proud of how I treated you. It was stupid, I didn't know what else to do, and I've been meaning to say. That night at the festival, I saw you. It all came flooding back to me. I panicked. Treated you like I had been, even though you weren't no threat to me no more. I'm sorry. It was shitty. I ain't gonna excuse it. And for the rest of it, too, the whole thing, I just ain't good at this sort of thing. Thank you. I didn't think I wanted an apology, mostly because I didn't expect it to be genuine, but, well, I appreciate it. For what it's worth, I'm sorry, too. I fucked up big time. I know that now. I just didn't see it before. Didn't understand it. You'd been through enough without me adding to it.
Oh, Kyrex, would you mind elaborating on what he means?
Guess he ain't told you that part. My bad. He's talking about my childhood. Shit was rough. Not that I'm making an excuse, of course.
I know a little. Enough to know you had it rough. If you wouldn't mind sharing, I would like to hear it directly from the horse's mouth, though.
This ain't no sob story. I don't want people thinking I'm sitting here trying to excuse anything. I acted shitty, don't matter what happened for that.
I am glad you understand that. But seeing as we are here, perhaps telling us both in detail will help us know you better.
Alright, you brought this on yourselves. Well, people who knew me as a kid say I couldn't be any more different. Said I was kind, had a heart of gold, all that. If I tripped, I'd cry for the longest time. You know, classic crybaby. May not believe it, but I was something of a runt, too. Mom was great. She picked me up when I fell, taught me all life's lessons. But him, the man I refused to call my father, well, you don't want to hear it. The point is, she and I went on the run from him, moving from town to town. I was in a new school every few months. He'd track us down relentlessly. Spent a lot of time in shelters or living in our car. But no matter how often we moved, he'd sometimes still find us. I was scared, constantly. Mom was too. Not just that, but the kids at school were tough on me. I struggled to make friends, and no matter which school I moved to, there'd always be those that'd pick on me. I remember one of those schools had this strict no fighting policy. Sounds good, right? It weren't. It just meant I got the shit kicked out of me and then got in trouble for fighting. To make it worse, spent nearly a year at that one. I used to run to the adults for protection, but after that I didn't trust them either. The only person I could rely on was me and my mom. The first year of high school, my father was arrested for a litany of things. We're no longer on the run for once, and well, puberty hit. And I grew. God damn did I grow. Went from scrawny nothing to 6'4" in the space of like a year. Turned things back on those bullies pretty damn quick. Got me expelled at 15. Funny how that works, eh? By that point, Mom had fallen ill both physically and mentally. She was the only person I cared for, the only person who was ever in my corner. Started working right out of school to support us both. She died 4 years ago. Suicide. I, kinda ran away. Here to Woodcrest, start over. Got into the gym and all that then. Sort of rebuilt my life. It's been a rocky ride there, but yeah. That's a short version, seeing as you asked.
I knew it was bad, but I'm sorry, Kyrex.
Nah, don't worry about it. Can't change the past, although curious why you'd wanted to know.
There is a reason, just trust me. How about you, Diego? We know you went to the university in the city and moved here. What about before that?
Well, if you're expecting something as dramatic as Kyrex's, you'll be disappointed. Normal, well-adjusted family, mostly. 2 brothers, Sam and Isaac. Good kids. I ain't seen them in years. 1 second, y'all. More water is needed. Wet my whistle. Wet my whistle, sonny. Oh, nice. I visited them just before I moved out here. Been a couple of years all the same. Woodcrest is pretty far from home.
Do you miss them?
Of course. It's been too long.
Where do they live exactly?
Seton on the southeastern coast. It's where I grew up. It's more than a day's trip by train. I keep meaning to go see them, but, well, life. Money. You know how it is.
Indeed.
You know, I think you showed me a picture of them once. Looked like you had a good relationship. Did I? I don't remember. Yeah. They looked like little ewes. One of them had this long-ass shaggy head of hair. Oh yeah, Sam still got that. Don't know where he got that from. I could never grow it much farther than this. I noticed Ty smile as he leaned back in his seat. Kyrex and I locked eyes before turning back to him, having dawned on just what Ty was playing at. Hey, what you playing at? Is this your plan all along?
Indeed. Look at you two. Look at the two of you, just chatting. My heart swells with joy.
Kyrex grumbled, clearly annoyed that Ty had gotten his way. At this point, I wasn't surprised in the slightest. The sort of trickery was the usual for Ty. It was weird, but for a moment there, I remembered Kyrex as he was when we first met. Perhaps we were never truly in a relationship, depending on your direct definition, but one thing was for sure. Once upon a time, the two of us were friends. It was confusing and uncomfortable playing him nostalgia, before any of this shit went down, before we hated each other's guts. I suppose that if we'd never been able to be friends, none of this would have been possible in the first place.
The two of you understand now, right? Diego, do you think you're ready to put this behind you?
I don't know why I was doing it in that other accent. Okay. I mean, sort of. Just because I understand doesn't mean it never happened, you know? I agree with him for a change. We've both been through a lot. You just can't just undo it. But I gotta admit, for just a moment now, I kinda got like a weird familiar vibe just now.
Whatever do you mean?
Guess what I'm saying is he and I were friends once. None of this would have ever happened if we weren't. Guess I kinda missed it deep down. Him and me just talking. I missed it. It's kinda stupid after everything. I guess friends are in short supply or something. but again, kind of lonely. Just wish shit hadn't gotten so messy. I hate that you're right, and I hate that I agree with you. In the beginning there, we did get along. Really well, in fact. Maybe that had something to do with why I mistook it all for something that it wasn't. That and desperation, and my own loneliness. Shit, it's all so fucked up. Why did it have to be like this? Does it? Knowing what you know now, could it not be different? Could you put all this behind you and start anew?
Could you put all this behind you and start anew?
I don't know. Guess I gotta think on that one for a bit. Ty rolled up his sleeve and checked his watch before returning to the conversation.
Thinking will have to wait, I'm afraid. As I would have it, the three of us may have gotten a little carried away. We are running late.
Yeah, shit, the final. Oh crap, I'd completely forgotten.
Well then, gents, how about we get on our way and the two of you can settle your remaining differences with a good old-fashioned tussle?
I don't much like to call it that, but, alright. Yeah, let's get a move on. I bet Brian is freaking out by this point, wondering where we are.
Indeed. I would expect no less.
Oh. Damn. Nice timing, Alarm Chan. Jeez. Alright, there we go, guys and gals. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.